Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. I have been lax in getting content out on the channel of late. Part of it's the work schedule, working part-time, retail. My schedule's all over the place. Never know if I'm gonna be working nights or mid-shift. But anyhow, that's not really an excuse. But last weekend, 2 weekends ago now, by the time I get this edited out, I took a drive from North Carolina, my now adopted home, I guess, back home to where I feel most comfortable, Pennsylvania. And I actually went up to Berks County, to a little town called Hamburg for the scale or Anthracite Railroad Modelers and Model Railroading Meet, which is, I guess, an RPM, which would be a Railroad Prototype Modelers. Somebody in the military must have made that up because they had to make a weird acronym. It really should be Prototype Model Railroaders Meet. But it's their 13th meet. I've never been there. I've never been to the Reading Railroad Heritage Museum. I grew up next to the old Pennsylvania, so I am a Pennsy fan, as you can see if you look at anything on my layout. But I did have relatives that worked on the Reading, and so there's always a sweet spot there. And I'd never really spent a lot of time in Berks or Schuylkill County, and so opportunity to drive up there. It's eight and a half hour drive, and then I took the back roads all the way through Berks, Schuylkill, and down into Philadelphia, Montgomery County, then Philadelphia County, went through the city of brotherly love, which I really do enjoy the city, but I didn't have time to stop there, down to Lower Bucks County, which is where I grew up, and spent some time with family. So I got some pictures, and I didn't really get any video because I didn't know what to expect, but there were no operating train layouts except for Sunday if you went to go to folks' house, which I didn't have the time. But the other thing was I was hoping that there would be some vendors there, and there were. According to one vendor, not as many as last year. You can see here's looking in the train shed, looking back out towards the event and the museum. The museum was really cool. Lots of cars, lots of engines. No steam, but that's okay. But there were clinics, which I found interesting. Again, back to the vendors. The problem I had with the vendors, I was hoping to find either someone trying to offload some Pennsylvania stuff, which I was very hesitant that would happen. And then there was a hope of finding some foreign railroads that might have interacted with a central or eastern central Pennsylvania branch line, my fictitious branch line back here. Unfortunately, those folks seem to model O scale and up. I found one vendor that had some N scale. All he had were some B&O, 2-bay coal or ore hoppers, which is perfect for the era that I'm doing, but I don't want a bunch of B&O. I'd like some smaller lines that might drop off a car or two, or go pick up some gravel from the gravel company, or drop stuff over here on the coal company over here. Anyhow, and then I thought, yeah, there'd be some cool colors, because, you know, you've got the Reading lines, the Lackawanna, Jersey Central, Lehigh, there's the dog, Erie, Western Maryland. I have a Western Maryland, Northern Reading. The seashore lines would have been cool. Lehigh Valley, Lehigh, New England, all those would have been cool. But I ended up staying for most of the day. And just a quick recap, I did go to Dale Woodland's Pursuing the Reading, and that was really interesting because he actually grew up, fairly close to where I was born in Norristown, and followed the Reading from the end of the steam era all the way to the modern era. He's been a rail fan. Had lots of pictures from the 60s and 70s, all the way to the end of the Reading, and had pictures from the beginning to the end. The only time he missed rail fanning was, he said when he was in college. There was a really cool clinic by Bill Whitman, who, and this was kind of a theme, was building a new railroad, and how he went about from pictures of railroads that he drove by while he was working, to railroads that he was familiar with just growing up in the area, and how he was going to rebuild in a year a 38 by 17 foot HO point-to-point railroad with a bit of a loop in it. And it would hit how he just compressed all the big sites. Like he said, if he had to do the little branch that hit 4 little towns that he was going to model, he would have needed 538 feet of track to accurately gauge the actual mileage between the towns. So how did you compress it? How did he pick out the landmarks? And then there was a gentleman, and I don't have his name, who actually worked on the Reading as a civil engineer, went to my grad school alma mater, Drexel University. Shout out the Drexel Dragons. And talked about he had a site-wide map, you can kind of see it here, of all the railroads that interact with a little piece of Schuylkill County that they were going to model. And that was really interesting. And there was another clinic in the last clinic I went to on Saturday afternoon, a gentleman who grew up in Chester and Lancaster counties, which are south and west of where I was. And his memories of growing up there and what he wanted to model. And now he lives in Los Angeles or someplace in California. He's an architect, and you could tell by his presentation, he went and gave you all the fine points of how to find every little landmark, reporting numbers, newspapers, photographs, Google Earth, and then how to sketch it out. And again, it focused on how do I condense this down to the high points I want to hit. And then he started actually modeling and compressing the modeling down to actual switching operations, actual industries. And again, he's in the 50s, 60s, I think he was early 70s era. So it would be the very end of Reading or Lackawanna and maybe a little Conrail coming in there. That was very informative. It was way more technical than I think the crowd was ready for, but it was a really well done presentation. And the other presentation I went to was a weathering clinic. Again, it was based on HO. It was cement. The gentleman's name was Steve O'Clear from Jersey. So I loved his accent. Living in the Poconos now, I'm like, dude, that's where I want to retire, in that kind of general vicinity, or maybe even into Lehigh County. But I didn't learn a whole lot of new things, but I saw some new ways to apply stuff that I already knew. So it's interesting. It's one of those things that now, if I ever get involved in a club, I could take my world of scale modeling and what I apply here to this small scale. And just after his clinic, I went and talked to him and just said, hey, have you looked at doing it this way? Thinking about this, using these types of products. And I think I started opening his mind. Like, he was modeling a cement hopper, and actually got real cement from the gravel pits that he knew of in Jersey, and he used that to add some texture. And I'm like, that's pretty cool, but you're still putting cement on your cars. I'm thinking like pastel chalk and a little thinner could work really well, or just some pigments into thinner. And again, his was mostly airbrush work and paint, as opposed to, and he's stuck with like Teslas and those kind of things, which is awesome. But I think there's a lot better choices in acrylic. I think that you'll see, if you're watching my weathering videos, I use a lot of pastel chalks. I use a lot of oil, and he used a lot of oil as well. But didn't use any dot filtering, which I thought was interesting. He just used an airbrush before the clinic to take the gray and whiten it down. And I was like, dude, you could like just put in some white filters and some light gray dots and other colors like ochres or whatever. And then just dot filter it, and you can get a lot more going. Anyhow, this is not to tear down this meet. It's just something I did. It was fun. I didn't buy anything because I didn't have any end scale. You can see here some really cool models that people have done with weathering engines, steam engines. Now it's all, like I said, HO or bigger. But it gave me some ideas when I finally get the nerve up to take my, $300, $350 steam engine, and maybe future steam engines, or my new diesel, which is giving me trouble running on the railroad, of course, and putting some weathering to it. I've stayed away from weathering the engines. I want them to run reliably, and right now it's an issue of the track, but it also gives me some ideas. It gave me some ideas of when I get to my retirement house. It may be this house. I hope not. I really don't want to live in North Carolina, but if I do, it'll be this garage space. I'll take over more of it and make a longer run and probably put a peninsula in. This is a test bed for getting back into the hobby and learning the tricks and trades and things I like and don't like. But that's the quick and dirty. If you find yourself up in the Lehigh Valley, the Schuylkill River Valley, Upper Berks County, Reading, Pottsville, it's worth a trip to Hamburg, which is right off of I-78, to go see the Reading Railroad Museum. It's a really cool museum. It's inexpensive. This meetup was really cool. It's my first time going to something like that. It was a lot different than going to a standard model train show. I think plans are for next year, we will go to out to Altoona for N-scale weekend, because that'll be more geared towards the scale that I enjoy. There's my badge. And they say, oh, what model? I model N. And I was like, I think I'm like the only guy here that does N scale, but that's okay. It's all good. But like I said, a chance to see a historical site like Horseshoe Curve, that kind of stuff would be good. And hopefully now that I'm back and I can get, of course, I paid the price of taking 6 days off. This is the end of 6 days. I get a day off, and I got like 5 days in a row. But helps out the little local community, puts some money in my pocket so I can keep building these model railroads and my other hobbies. So yeah, quick update on what we did, some pictures, not a whole lot. Like I said, it was a small show, but I could see getting back into Pennsylvania, finding a Pennsylvania Railroad Historical Society or a local RPM if they have one, and really getting a little more involved in the hobby in retirement. So anyhow, I hope everybody has a great day and keep the trains running.